Hello everybody and welcome back. We are getting into a brand new deal that was just launched this morning by Palantir and Lockheed Martin. Now we haven't gotten a new PR with a deal of any sort of like magnitude in regards to a public company working with another public company, I believe since the Hertz deal. So Palantir, when they collaborated with Hertz, this was right before their earnings came out. This was a little bit back in early October. This is the last time we saw Alex Karp kind of publicly talk about this stuff. And then a month later, we got earnings. Earnings were okay, not amazing, not horrible given this macro condition. Obviously, they had $800 million worth of governmental deals in September, but it's been relatively quiet over the past couple of weeks. Nothing crazy has happened. Now, FoundryCon was amazing because we got to see a bunch of customers and the ways they use Palantir. Obviously, Tyson Foods, their CTO saying they saved $200 million. I mean, that was phenomenal to be able to see. But in terms of new updates, haven't gotten anything else. Well, we want new updates, and we got some new updates. Let's get into this one. Palantir announces collaboration with Lockheed Martin focused on accelerating Aegis, I might be saying the wrong, and future integrated combat system software delivery powered by Palantir Apollo. So this one is about Apollo. Let's get a little bit deeper into this. Palantir Technologies and Lockheed Martin are announcing a collaboration focused on delivering modern software today to support today and tomorrow's Navy combat systems by leveraging Lockheed Martin's deep technical experience in Palantir's Apollo platform. The collaboration focuses on driving innovation and working closely with the U.S. Navy to modernize its combat systems at the surface fleet. Lockheed Martin and Palantir have come together to solve some of the most complex challenges that arise in the rapid and secure delivery of software to where it's needed most in heterogeneous environments. So, a couple things here already. This is somewhat of a military type of deal, right? They're working together on a joint product and a joint venture to accelerate the delivery of software at scale, which is the entire point of Apollo. For those that don't understand anything about Apollo, the basic premise is you can use this software to deliver and distribute your own software within your own internal system. So if you want to push an update, for example, to your application, but now imagine pushing an update in a much more severe and complicated sense when you have, thousands of different things that you're trying to do almost instantaneously. And Apollo is one of the things, I've been speaking to CodeStrap about for the past couple of months now that he thinks is it's the most underrated element of Palantir, because if they figure out how to scale that, there's actually very little competition in that area of the market. And that is something that they could just have the best technology in the world around. Palantir Apollo enables a technique of software development and delivery called autonomous deployment. It allows developers to write and deploy software that includes the application's requirements and enables teams to work closely on software asynchronously. Every company and government in the world that has any level of IT could use that product. Apollo then enables DevOps, security teams, and operators the ability to scale and deliver innovation rapidly, all while dev teams can get real-time feedback and performance reporting. Which makes a lot of sense, right? If you can work asynchronously with a bunch of other developers, even if you're in different teams, one is in the finance team, one is in the sales teams, but they're both writing software to be able to establish sales software, finance software, to establish a reliable and meaningful and efficient customer experience, then the ability for you to get real-time feedback and performance reporting at the time at which you're deploying the software is the value of Palantir's Apollo. Now, a couple quotes from the people here. The Navy needs capability to update software at the edge rapidly and secure to address ever-evolving threats. Lockheed Martin is investing in skills, capabilities, tools, and infrastructure to deliver the best software to the warfighter efficiently and affordably. Palantir's Apollo is central to these efforts. Apollo addresses last-mile delivery challenges and performs automated software deployment and management across secure government networks, cloud environments, and on-platform environments, said Joe DiPrito, Vice President for the Navy Combat and Missile Defense Systems at Lockheed Martin. Lockheed Martin, for those that don't know, is also a defense contract company. Palantir COO Sham Sankar says, Palantir was built to solve the world's most difficult problems with a truly best-in-class cutting-edge technology. We believe that by sharing our approach to the Apollo product, more customers can take advantage of the autonomous deployment approach. And it seems like that's why Lockheed Martin is wanting to partner with Palantir in the first place. The idea that updating software at the edge rapidly to securely address or to potentially mitigate, like actually predict if something's going to happen and stop it from happening, or when it does start happening, you mitigate it as much as possible. An evolving threat to either national security or something that's happening in cybersecurity, something that's happening on the grid. I mean, there are all these different things that over the next decade are going to get more complex and more intricate. And having something like Palantir that gives you real-time feedback immediately is where I think the value of this partnership is. Greg DeArmond, chief architect and the head of Apollo Platform, says, we've had the privilege of working in the most demanding operational context with our customers, deploying software that connects with frontline requirements. We will continue to strengthen our products to meet rapidly expanding needs, whether centralized, federated, or at the edge, across key industries. So let's talk about this. One of the things that's important here to recognize is the concept of what Palantir is doing for the future. Now, I think the biggest thing that's on everyone's mind right now is the stock price. Obviously, it's on the stock price, $7, really not breaking out of the $7, $8 range. When is it going to get to 16? When is it 15? We've had all these great PRs. When is that going to get to a level where Palantir is starting to get back at least into the 20s? Personally, I think with deals like this, and I've been very consistent with saying this on every single deal they release, if you're a long-term investor, if you believe that Palantir can be that kind of Tesla of data that we think it can, which is the risk you're taking, it's the asymmetrical bet you're taking with your capital if you're individually investing in this equity, it's because you believe deals like this are not for the stock price. It's because you believe that deals like this are to establish a foundation of who is going to win in 2030. That's what these deals are about. Lockheed Martin could have picked other companies to try to do this with. They could have picked Microsoft. They could have picked Amazon. Microsoft's potentially releasing some Palantir supply chain competitor. We'll talk more about that as well in a different video. But like Lockheed Martin could have picked other people to do these partnerships with to launch these products for the Navy, for the military, and they picked Palantir. And they picked Palantir for a reason. And 2 years after being a public company, that doesn't mean Palantir stock has to go to the moon because they got this deal. That does mean that as an investor, you're looking at these deals and you're like, interesting. IL6 security clearance. Interesting. 800 million in governmental interesting, right? And then you can factor in the stock-based compensation and the share dilution and all that stuff, and that can form an entire thesis, which, by the way, SBC is down 29% year over year, so that's pretty nice, at least for the last earnings. But it's recognizing that over the next 5-7 years, if Palantir is the company that is chosen to give real-time data and autonomous feedback at scale in some of the most highly complex environments like the government and the Navy and the military, that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. That's a company I believe I would want to be betting on, not, independent of all the other reasons I would want to be betting on them. So to me, this is a PR that's not going to move the stock. This is a PR that's just something they had to put out because they're doing some good stuff. And the more of these we get over the next 5 years, as the macro shift, as interest rates go down, which, by the way, interest rates aren't really even affecting Palantir outside of their stock dynamics because they have $2.4 billion in cash, so they don't need to borrow money. I think they have like a $900 million line of credit, something like that. So at that point, you've got a company that's well prepared and in the position to be able to explode when it's time to explode. Explosion requires two things. One, the macro environment being a lot better, which might not happen for the next couple of years, to be honest. And number two, all of these deals accumulating to the point where the foundation is set for them to grow massively, and then they actually do grow massively and the market finally respects it. But these deals are putting in that foundation over the next 5-6 years, and that's why I think we're going to see, more of these deals happen and ultimately see how the stock price is going to reflect that. So those are my thoughts. Palantir announces a new collaboration with Lockheed Martin. Apollo, I'll leave a video in the description where you guys can listen to a little bit more thoughts on Apollo and why Apollo is so exciting. I actually did a interview with a former all-in Tesla investor, made a crap ton of money on Tesla, then went all-in on Palantir, and he believes Palantir's Apollo is very similar to Tesla's full self-driving. It's a really interesting concept. So thank you guys so much for listening and watching. We'll talk more about Lockheed Martin, Apollo, and Palantir, and I'll see you in the next one.